Hey everyone, my name is Jimmy Smith and I'm the Generations Pastor here at FBC Allen. And I've said this in our previous videos, but one of my responsibilities here that I have at FBC Allen is leading or giving leadership to our marriage ministry. And so that's what I'm focusing in on these videos, is just really trying to help take care of our marriages. It's something we should do all of the time, but especially during this time with things where things are just so chaotic and things are so up in the air. One of the things we have to make sure that we're really intentional about is taking care of our marriages. I was listening to a radio this morning on the way to work, Sports Talk Radio. Hey, shout out to the ticket. And the morning guys were just kind of talking about the good and the bad of being home. And one of the things that they talked about was the good and bad of being home with your spouse a lot more than maybe you normally are. And you get a chance to be together, to spend more time together, to talk together. But then they also were talking about some of the disadvantages maybe that, you know, more time together and being together all the time could create a lot of friction. And so it was just another reminder to me that if we're not careful, if we don't take care of our marriages, then what's something that could be maybe a blessing could turn real negative in our marriages. So I was reminded about an article I read several years ago, but it's a great article, and I wanted to share just some of the points of that from that article about how to take care of your marriage. And the first one is this, and this may sound simple, but it's this: it's be faithful. And what I mean by be faithful means that your spouse should be priority one in your life. There should be no other relationship that's before that relationship with your spouse. Of course, that's excluding your relationship with the Lord, but all earthly relationships. No one should be more important to you. You shouldn't be sharing information or intimate details about you, yourself, your life with anyone else other than your spouse. Sure, you're going to have some close friends that you talk about stuff with. You know, ladies, you might have some real close girlfriends, or guys, you might have some dudes that you really share with and talk to. And those types of things are okay, but you want to make sure that the person that knows you the most, that knows you the best, is your husband or is your wife, and you want to be faithful to that relationship. If you find yourself texting a lot or Facebook messaging a lot or social media, however you do it, with someone of the opposite sex, if you're doing that a lot, then that's something you need to stop, because that is getting in the way of your relationship with your spouse. So you want to be faithful to your spouse. They should be the number one priority. Yes, even above your kids, your marriage should be the top priority. I'm not saying you neglect your kids. I'm not saying that sometimes the kids take a majority of your focus, because I know that they do. I have kids, and sometimes they just need more of our time. But what happens a lot of times is we take our spouses for granted. And so what we do is we take our marriage, kind of put it off to the side, and we focus on everything else, focus on our kids, focus on our jobs, focus on all kinds of other stuff. But we don't need to do that to our marriages. We need to bring our marriages back to the forefront. So be faithful. Your spouse should always be number one. The second thing that article mentioned was just surround yourself with strong relationships. And I know that's a little bit hard right now because we're physically distancing. But the idea is you want to have people that are close to you who are for your marriage. Not for you, but for your marriage. Because here's the deal. If you surround yourself with lots of people who they don't take marriage as seriously as you do, or maybe you're serious, let me put it this way. If they don't see the marriage the way God sees marriage, then guess what? Then they're going to maybe influence you or advise you to do things that may be opposite of what God wants you to do in your marriage. Divorce all of a sudden may be, hey, that could be an option, or or separation, or whatever. So you want to surround yourself with people who care about your marriage, who love your marriage, and who view marriage the way that you do, the way that God intended us to view marriage, as a covenant relationship, not something that has a plan B, but the plan A is always to stay married. So surround yourself with those people. And again, you're going to have people who love you and who are always going to be on your side, but you need to make sure that you have people speaking into your life who are for the marriage, who are for the us, and not just you, the individual. Also, get help when you need it. And you don't always have to wait till things are bad to go to counseling or to seek counsel from other people who've been married for a while and who have strong marriages. You take your car in every 3,000 to 5,000 miles to get the oil changed, to get everything looked at. It's okay to do the same thing with your marriage. It's just check in, make sure things seem to be going okay. Are things going okay? And so marriage counseling can also be preventative. It doesn't have to be reactive to a negative situation, but it can be preventative. So that could be that you see a professional counselor. That could be that you talk to one of your ministers here at FBC Allen or wherever you happen to attend church. It could be that you talk to a couple that you really admire and who have been married longer than you have and are doing marriage well. You could talk to them, but take care of your marriage and get that help when you need it. And be an open book with your spouse. There really shouldn't be any secrets because if you have a secret, right, then you're trying to hide something. And there really shouldn't be anything that we're trying to hide from our spouses other than maybe like a gift or a surprise party or something you're planning for them. But be an open book. And I know that's hard for some people. But like I said, the person that should know you the best and know you the most intimately should be your spouse. And so I think it's okay to talk about hard feelings, tough feelings. Tell them when you're anxious. Tell them when you're afraid. Tell them when you're uncertain. Tell them when you're happy. Tell them when you're excited. Tell them when you're not feeling so great. Just talk to your spouse. Be an open book. And the other thing is it's just to be together. Spend some time together when you're not necessarily talking about all the stuff of life, but you're just together, just being friends, having conversation. That kind of goes along with dating your spouse. Now, I know dating right now can be a challenge, but there's lots of ways that you can date your spouse, even though we're physically distancing. You can go on a walk, you can go outside and sit on the porch, you can watch a movie together, you can, all kinds of stuff. You read a good book together. There's several things that you can do as a spouse, but you want to spend some time together. Now, I realize if the kids are home all the time, you may have to get a little creative with this. Maybe wait till they go to bed, or maybe try an early morning date if that's something that you can do and are willing to do. But just be together, take some time together, and do that on a regular basis. Another good thing to do as a husband and a wife to help take care of your marriage is just to dream together. I think that can draw you closer together. Talk about where you hope to be in 5 years, 10 years. Talk about a dream vacation you would like to have, or maybe a dream purchase and how maybe you could work towards that. But don't get just stuck in the day-to-day, but look to the future. Have a plan. For your marriage and where you'd like to be, maybe where you'd like to be as a family, where you'd like to be financially, where, just something fun. But dream together and talk about the future, because who knows, you may have two completely different views of what the future might look like in your marriage. And so it's good to come together and to talk about those things, but make sure that you do it together. Another one that I would tell you is to have sex. Hey, you're married. You should enjoy that physical intimacy as well as spiritual intimacy and emotional intimacy. God created sex for the husband and the wife. He created it for the marriage bedroom. So enjoy that time. Have sex together. And I think the last thing I would say to you is this, is just to be intentional about your marriage. Because here's what will happen. If you're not intentional, then you'll start to drift. And now it may not be this huge drift, but just a little bit at a time. It's like being in the ocean. I've used this illustration before. We've been at the beach before where our kids are kind of playing out in the ocean and we're on the beach watching them. And after they play a little while, they're not right in front of us anymore. They've kind of drifted a little bit down the shore. And it's not anything that they've done, but it's just kind of the current has taken them that way a little bit, right? And they weren't intentional about trying to stay right in front of us. And so if we're not intentional about working on our marriages, then we can just drift. And another way I've heard someone say it is like we start to run these parallel existences where we're not always connecting, but we're just kind of going like this, and we quickly become roommates instead of being a married couple. So those are just some easy tips. When I say easy, those are some good tips to help you take care of your marriage. And you may have some others that you'd like to share, and if so, just drop them in the comments. Please share this video with your friends. You can copy the YouTube link and email it to them, post it on Facebook, post it wherever you do social media. But these are just some ways that I think are helpful for us and while we are taking care of our marriages, especially during this time. Know that here at FBC Allen that we love you and we're praying for you. And if there's anything that we can help you out in your marriage, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can go to fbcallen.org or you can email me, jimmy.smith@fbcallen.org, and we'd love to see how we can help you and help your marriage. God bless you.